Hey, do you ever wonder why you're learning all this new stuff but you're not getting smarter? I want to tell you why I think that is. So I use a social network called Goodreads, and it's amazing, and you can log the books you've read and review them and see what your friends are reading, and it's a great contextual social network that I highly recommend you check out. So they have this feature called a reading challenge. And what the reading challenge does at the beginning of the year, you said how many books you want to read. I want to read 25 books this year. And then throughout the year, there's a little progress bar and it'll track how many books you've actually read. So you go through, you read them, you check them out, you're seeing, oh shit, it's July and I've not got halfway through, and you quickly try to read another book. You start buying thin books to go through, and it's amazing. And at the end of the year, you see how many books you've read. Last year, I realized there was a problem because I started becoming so obsessed with this reading challenge that I started trying to consume too much. And I realized simultaneously, at a time when I was probably the most out of shape in my life, that actually I'd started to think about the consumption of knowledge the same way I started to think about the consumption of food. So what happens is every time you eat food, you get calories and you consume those calories, and what you have to do is you've got to burn those calories off, otherwise they become fat. Unfortunately, we don't do the same with knowledge. Right? We consume and we consume and we consume all these knowledge calories, and we're not burning the calories we're consuming. So we finish one book, we read it, and then we finish another one and we read it, and we finish another one and we read it, because we're measuring our progress not in how many actions we do, but in how many calories we burn, but in how many calories we consume. And it's problematic for me. That's not going to be the goal. Now, I've managed to lose nearly 20 kilos this year, and one of the primary ways I've done that is a thing called intermittent fasting. In my case, I have a feeding protocol, feeding window of 8 hours, and then for 16 hours I don't eat. Typically what would happen is you would eat, and your body consumes the easy calories that are available, and then it never gets time to go down and burn the stored calories, which are the ones you want to get rid of, because easy food is always there and it goes for that. In intermittent fasting, what it does is you give it the easy calories, it eats all of those it can, and then it realizes, hey man, I'm still hungry. You're busy doing things. I still want more to eat. And it looks around and it's like, let me use that. And it starts burning from the fat cells from your body, and that's how you get rid of it. And it's very, very powerful. The video I watched was, that got me into it was by guys called the Jump Rope Dudes. I'll link it up here so you can go and check it out. If you're on Facebook, jump over to YouTube and you'll see this point. I'll try to link to the videos below as well. But they got me started with this intermittent fasting, and it really kind of changed my thinking. Now what I want to do is put in this thinking of intermittent fasting to you with knowledge. I want you to go on a knowledge diet. I want you to separate the act of consumption of knowledge, gaining knowledge calories, from the act of burning knowledge calories. Because when you burn those calories, the amazing things happen. And I want you to imagine that, let's say, when you read a book, right? This book is actually a great example. It's called The Book of Job by Simon Woodroff, an amazing book. You can consume it in seconds. The problem is, this book is so rich, it's so calorie heavy. It's easy to read fast. The challenge is to teach yourself to read it slowly. The same with Howard Mann's book, Your Business Brickyard. And this is what I want you to do, is I want you to sit there, read, and then I want you to get the nutrients out of that thing, right? There's got to be a way that you can make that worthwhile. And the only way to do that is to turn it into actions and to go on a knowledge diet. So the next business book you read, here's what I want you to do. Or the next book you read, take the book, write it. In the back page, I want you to write a list of action notes, right? So I want you to write things as actions. And as you read something, don't just write down the cool thing the guy said or the lady said. Write down, I want to now do this, and put a little checkbox. And have at least 10 of those when you finish reading. Here's the diet bit. You're not allowed to read your next book before you've checked off 5 of those things. Because if you don't, then what happens is you immediately start consuming, this book is gone, you start consuming the next one, and then you get all these other new ideas that fills your brain, but don't go anywhere because this one has become fat. That's all that's happened, right? Those calories have sunk, they've not been used, they've just become more stuff that sits there stagnating. It's like fat, knowledge fat, right? And that's not great. So what you have to do is take a break, take the lessons, turn them into actions. Almost certainly, if you see any book that I've read, you'll see the points where I've written things. I've made notes on just about every page here, stuff that I want to do in the book. Because for me, knowledge without action is nothing. You need to separate knowing and doing. And funnily enough, to quote the Jump Rope Dudes again, it's not about learning the thing, it's about doing the thing. That's the challenge this week. Be patient, slow down your reading. So I'm gonna give you a reading challenge this year. And the reading challenge is to cut your reading down by half, but to double the amount of action you take. If you can cut your consumption and double your action, right, you will be far better off by reading just 1 book a year than you will be by consuming 20 books a year. All that does is gives you a nice box to check. It's not changing your business, it's not changing yourself.
Thanks for watching that video. You know what to do if you liked it. Subscribe obviously, and we'll see you next time. Cool. I'm gonna bounce, dude. Cheers.
There's more, dude.
Oh, of course, sorry. Check this out.
So, take my new book that's coming out in like a week or 2 or 3 weeks. It's called Boredom's There. It's about public speaking and about you presenting to other people. I want you to read the book and I want you to take notes. But more importantly, what I really want you to do is to stand up and deliver a presentation and try just one of the techniques. Right? And in fact, the book starts out, the very first page, I start out telling you to schedule a talk for sometime in the future so you have a deadline. It's not about, I mean, I love the fact that people will buy my book and that feels really, really nice. But you know what feels great for me is when somebody comes back to me and says to me, that thing you said on this page, I tried it in a presentation and it blew me away. That's what matters. It matters when you turn the knowledge into action. So sure, I want you to add my book to part of your consumption and to part of your diet. But more importantly, I want you to turn those calories into actions. That's why we write these things. Read the book, then do the thing. Peace.